Okay, number one, I want to solve this equation for x. So I'm going to follow the 5 steps to solve equations. Step 1, the e on every reminds me to eliminate the parentheses. So to do that, I'm going to use the distributive property. So I'm going to distribute the -3 to the x and the 4 because those terms are inside the parentheses. So I'm going to show my rainbow here for how I am multiplying -3 times x. That would give me -3x. Then I have -3 times this term. So -3 times 4, that is -12. Notice how I do not distribute to the plus 15 because it is outside the parentheses. So I simply bring that term down. Okay, bring my equal sign down. On the right side of the parentheses, I have no, on the right side of the equation, I have no parentheses. I'm going to bring the 6 minus 4x down as well. Okay, so I just did step 1. I eliminated the parentheses. As you can see now, look at my equation, and I have no parentheses since I eliminated them by the distributive property. Step 2, the C on cowboy reminds me to combine like terms. So I'm going to first look left on the left side of the equal sign. This term, -12, and this term, +15, those are like terms because they are constants. They are terms that have no variable. And so I can combine them. -12 plus 15, that is 3, right? +3. So I'm going to bring my -3x down. And -12 plus 15 we said was 3. So +3. I'll bring my equal sign down. On the right side of the equation, I have no like terms, and so I'm just going to copy what this says, 6 minus 4x. Okay, so I did step 2. I combined my like terms. Step 3, the g on gets reminds me to get the variable on one side of the equation. So I need to pick a side and get the variable to that side of the equation by using inverse operations. So I'm going to choose to get my x terms on the left side of the equation. So to do that, I need to undo this subtraction, and addition undoes subtraction. So I'm going to add not 4. Notice how I'm adding 4x. 4x, not 4, 4x, right? Whatever this term is, I add exactly that so that these terms will cancel. And of course, if I add 4x on the right, I add 4x on the left side of the equation because I always do the same thing to both sides. Okay, so those terms cancel. On the left side, what's -3x plus 4x? That is 1x, right? Or just x. I bring the +3 down. Bring my equal sign down. On the right side, I just have 6. Okay, so I have variable on the left side. Step 4, the n on nervous reminds me to get the numbers on the other side. That way my variable x will be isolated. It will be by itself on the left side of the equation. So to undo addition, I do subtraction. I subtract 3 from both sides. Those 3's cancel. And so x equals 6 minus 3, which is 3. X equals 3. Now, because this is in the video, you should show every step that I showed on your Jamboard, and your answer should be correct. Do not miss a problem that I do in a video. Number 2, as you can see here on the left side of the equation, I have a fraction. There is a numerator and there is a denominator. Remember, my goal is to isolate the variable. I want x to be by itself. So before I can distribute, or before I should distribute, I should get rid of the denominator. So how am I going to get rid of the denominator? Well, remember the horizontal fraction bar means division. So how do I undo division? That'll be multiplication, right? So I'm going to multiply both sides of this equation by this number that is in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply the left side by 5, use my dot for multiplication. So I'm multiplying by 5, or I could put 5 over 1. And I'm going to multiply the right side by 5. Okay. When I do that, the whole reason I'm multiplying by 5 is so that these 5s would simplify to 1. I have a 5 in the numerator and a 5 in the denominator, and so those simplify because 5 over 5 is 1. And so all I'm left with on the left side of the equation is 6 times 2x minus 1. So I'm going to bring all of this stuff, I'm going to bring that straight down. So all right, 6 times, notice how I'm saying times because 2x minus 1 is inside the parentheses, and the parentheses, of course, mean multiplication. So 6 times 2x minus 1 equals, here I have a -18 times 5. I know they're going to have different signs because I know they're going to have a negative sign because they're different signs, excuse me. 18 times 5 is 90. So negative 90. Negative 18 times 5 is negative 90. Okay, now I'm going to follow my 5 steps. I got rid of my denominator to begin with. Now I'm going to distribute this 6, right, to eliminate the parentheses. So I'll have 6 times 2x. That would be 12x. 6 times this term. This term's not 1. This term is negative 1. So 6 times negative 1, that is negative 6. Bring my equal sign down. Bring my negative 90 down on the right side. Okay, so my variable is already on the left side. I don't have an x over here. So because my variable is on the left, I'm going to get my numbers on the right side. So how do I undo this subtraction? I undo subtraction by addition. So I'm going to add 6. Add 6 to both sides. Those 6's cancel, and so 12x is equal to, what's negative 90 plus 6? That would be negative 84, right? Different sides subtract, keep the big guy. Fifth and final step is to solve for x. So I'm going to divide both sides by the coefficient of x. So coefficient, remember, is the number being multiplied by the variable, the number in front of the variable, which here is 12. So I'm dividing both sides by 12 so that x would give me negative 84 divided by 12. That's negative 7. So x is negative 7. Okay. Number 3 here, 3, 4, and 5 you'll do on your own, but what number will you be distributing right here? I don't see the number, so I'm going to be distributing a negative 1. Okay, be sure you distribute a negative 1. Also, be careful here. You're going to have negative 1 times this term, which is not x, which is negative x. So be careful there. You got negative 1 times negative x. That should give you a positive x. Okay, you try number 4, you try number 5, and turn it in when you're done.